Sick of a group of mean girls running the hallways, called Heathers, two teens embark on a murder spree at their local school in classic 80s fashion. This time we take on Christian Slater and Winona Ryder and remake Heathers Right. Greetings and salutations, my fellow cinematic architects, and welcome to Remake This Movie Right. We are a member of the Hollywood Outsider Network. You can listen to episodes of Remake This Movie Right on Apple Podcasts. Reviews are definitely appreciated, or your podcast app of choice, or you can just visit the website at remakethismovieright.com. Remake This Movie Right, if you've never been here before, is a show that takes an original film that has an actual remake in the works, figure out what still clicks and what doesn't, throw a little bit of humor at it, and then we determine exactly how Hollywood should remake it. So by the end of each episode, we will have a remake ready to roll for Hollywood execs and presented to you in movie trailer form. We are here to tell Hollywood how to remake this movie right. I'm your host, Aaron Peterson, and joining me today, you remember her from Stargate, Wild Wild West, and Splash, Angela Wallock.
Hello, everybody.
That was a pleasant greeting.
I'm a polite person.
And you remember him from The Birds, The Matrix, and The Batman. Zack Parkerson.
Hey, it's another non-comic thing.
It is. You're breaking the mold.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, if you could you talk like this through the whole thing? Because that would be pretty good. Because it's apparently, that's an homage right there.
It's a killer impression.
You like that? I've been working on that at least the last 6 minutes. All right. For this episode, we are remaking the 1988 classic written by Daniel Waters and directed by Michael Lehmann, Heathers. The film starred Jack Nicholson, sorry about that, Christian Slater, and Winona Ryder as JD and Veronica. They were a pair of teenagers that fall quickly in love or lust, I'm not sure which, one of those, partially due to their mutual disgust for their classmates. After repeatedly dealing with pack leader Heather's domination of her life, Veronica gives in to JD's notion of revenge and unwittingly kills Heather in the process. They frame it like a suicide, and then soon find themselves living among several bodies before Veronica wises up and leaves JD. Obviously still a little bit loose in the caboose, JD decides to blow up their entire school, and it's up to Veronica to stop him. Okay, that's Heathers. I want to go to who saw this first. It's probably Angela, because I know Zack just saw it. Angela, did you see this when it came out, and what did you think about it?
I saw it probably like a couple years after it came out, and I saw it when I want to say it was definitely at a girls' slumber party, because of course that's where you watch these kind of movies when you were my age. Wow. And yes, there was pillow fights.
Can we tell that story real quick?
No. So yeah, it would have been 5th or 6th grade. So looking back, watching it now, because I don't think I've seen it in its like wholeness since probably 5th or 6th grade, it's kind of mind-boggling that we were able to watch this movie. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking, being a 5th or 6th grade, kid, when I watched this, I don't think I really grasped all of the bad stuff that really was happening in this movie, because there's a lot of bad stuff that happens in this movie. I mean, I knew it was a dark comedy, and I got that, and I think we just really liked it because it was cool, and probably the reason why we wanted to watch it was because it was kind of forbidden to us, but it's definitely a really, really dark movie.
Yeah, I think even darker than I remembered.
It's way darker than I remembered.
It is. It's super. It's quirky. I mean, quirky is a good word, but it's definitely dark. Now, Zack, you just saw it. You had never seen this before, so I'm kind of curious. Someone who had never seen it, so you're dropped into this movie from the 80s, fresh. What did you think?
Well, firstly, I would like to retract my request for the pillow fight story. Learning Angela was in 6th grade.
Yeah,
like everyone. So I clear the air. And quirky is a really good word for it. It's a weird movie, but it was a fun movie. And I don't think it was dark. I think it was a little uplifting even. Get the bad kids out of the way.
That's your version of uplifting?
So yeah, it was okay. Yeah, I thought it's a really fun movie, even almost 30 years removed. Is that right?
It's coming up on 30 years next year, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for being 30 years old, it still made me laugh pretty much throughout. I watched it. It was good. I really like the end.
You really like the end?
Oh, I like when I like her lighting a cigarette with an exploding Christian Slater.
That is pretty great.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I like that with his arms stretched like he's Jesus Christ, and hey, I'm, and then she just, after he blows up, she just walks away. It's all good. I'm gonna go hang out with, was it Martha in the
Yeah, it's Martha.
Yeah, go hang out with Martha. She seems like a fun time. Well,
probably not.
I saw it as a teen who I hated school, and so I thought Christian Slater was the coolest dude on the planet. I mean, I dressed like him. I talked like him quite a bit when I was younger.
You did dress like him.
I did. Completely dressed like him. I was him. I was Christian Slater.
You kind of still do.
For a long...
You do kind of still do.
So which one? Dress like him?
Yeah.
And do, like, you kind of talk like him, too. Well, let's be honest.
Every once in a while, I do talk like him, and I get really caught up in it, and I just... What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? I mean, sometimes you just gotta snap, and you gotta be Jack. That's what he did for the whole movie. I thought it was awesome. I followed his career and everything. It was like Gleaming the Cube I thought was awesome. I was wrong.
Pump Up the Volume.
Pump Up the Volume was awesome. That's a great movie. And let's see, Cuffs. Love Cuffs. I love Cuffs. I could talk about Cuffs. I really want to do Cuffs right now.
I'm understanding zero of these references because I think Christian Slater's career was over by the time I was born.
Wow. Well, Mr. Robot brought it back, though.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, he's in a show.
So mean.
He won a Golden Globe last year.
Bam.
Bam.
Yeah. Bam. He won a Golden Globe.
They felt bad for him. He didn't work for 30 years.
He did too. Stop it. I hope he doesn't listen to this because I love you, Christian Slater.
I feel like every time I'm on the show, you are hoping the celebrity is not listening.
Well, ever since Wesley Snipes listened the one time, I was kind of, I'm thrown off a little bit.
And he appreciated it.
He did. Blade,
he loves himself.
He does. Nobody loves Wesley Snipes more than Wesley Snipes. I just thought the whole concept was cool. And it didn't go too far, but it went far. And back then, it wasn't so taboo. I mean, we're going to talk about it more here in a little bit, but I don't think you could ever make this movie now. Not the way that it's made without causing a whole lot of ripples.
Well, Hollywood's going to try.
Oh, of course. And Winona Ryder, by the way. Who didn't love her in the... Well, Zach, I guess you can abstain from this one because you were born, early 90s, right? So I loved Winona Ryder in the 80s. Did you have a feeling one way or the other for Winona, Angela?
Oh, I love Winona. Yeah, pretty much like she could do no wrong. And especially during the 80s, early 90s, like obviously Beetlejuice, Mermaids, you name it. She was awesome.
And then
Little Woman. Oh my God.
Oh, that was good. The Age of Innocence. Did you mention that one?
No, but that's a great one too.
It was great to see the Stranger Things lady do something else.
Well, she also disappeared for a little bit because she was looking for Christian Slater's career. And she found it.
And she shoplifted it.
I was just going to say.
Ouch. Oh. Wow, that's very good topical reference. That's not topical anymore. So please subscribe and review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or whatever podcast app you use. If you have your own pitch or thoughts on this week's show, email us at remakeismovieright@gmail.com. I'm pretty sure both Christian and Winona have clicked the thing off by now. So here's a clip from the original.
Winona's very charming. I'm sorry. I need to interject. Winona, if you're listening, I like you.
You don't like Christian Slater?
He's fine.
Oh, he's amazing. I think I still got a poster somewhere around here with his face on it. And it's like Cuffs, so it's pretty much just his face. Whatever. All right, so here's a clip from the original Heathers, starring Jack Nicholson.
Hello, Jason Dean.
Greetings and salutations. You a Heather?
No, I'm a Veronica. Sawyer. This may seem like a really stupid question.
There are no stupid questions.
You inherit $5 million the same day aliens land on the Earth and say they're going to blow it up in 2 days. What do you do?
That's the stupidest question I've ever heard.
Who's that guy in the coat think he is, anyways? Bo Diddley? Veronica's into his act, no doubt.
I don't know, probably row out to the middle of a lake somewhere, bring along a bottle of tequila, my sax, and some Bach.
How very.
Come on, Veronica.
Later.
Definitely.
Okay, you guys ready for some trivia from this classic?
Bring it on.
That's a different movie, Angela. We're talking about Heathers.
How very.
Wow.
There you go.
A high school thing, right?
Yeah. Yep. Well, 2 stars died young. This is a sad one, but it was very interesting in ways which were eerily prophesied by the script. Jeremy Applegate, whose character prays he will never commit suicide, shot himself on March 23rd, 2000, Kim Walker, whose character asked, did you have a brain tumor for breakfast, died of a brain tumor on March 6, 2001. What? That's what IMDb said. And
that's a real downer.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting fact. Look, I'm trying to do what I can to make this interesting. You do what you can. All right, here's an upbeat. Christian Slater has stated that his performance was heavily inspired by Jack Nicholson. What?
Shocking. I didn't get that at all.
Zach, did you get that knowing that you hadn't seen the movie, and I assume you didn't know much about the movie. Did you get that immediately, or you were just like, what is he trying to do with his voice?
Yeah, I thought he was trying to reference Aladdin. Robin Williams' impression of Christian Slater or Jack Nicholson in that.
Did he hit it?
Perfectly. Yeah, he does a good Robin Williams doing Jack Nicholson. Clearly Jack Nicholson throughout, yes.
Yeah. Well, clearly. I mean, look at the eyebrows. He's trying. He claims he wrote a letter to Jack Nicholson asking him to watch the film, but did not receive an answer. Winona Ryder's agent, by the way, begged her to not be in the movie, stating her career would be over.
Was that correct?
No. Heathers didn't ruin her career.
Her career was fine. You guys are so mean. Mean.
Something had to ruin her career.
I don't know if she took time off or what, because she was always in demand. I mean, people always liked Winona.
Mm-hmm.
Christian.
I don't know. Did you also hear that she had to fight for the role? That the director actually didn't want to cast her because he didn't think she was pretty enough?
No, tell me this story.
Yeah, because she had just done Beetlejuice, from what I understand. So because there was an interview that I read about it, and she was saying that she could understand where he was coming from because she was, she looked like Lydia. So she was super pale, pasty, and she had her hair, the black, almost bluish black color. So she definitely wasn't, looking like a really pretty high school chick. So she went to, I don't know, like a Macy's or something and got a makeover and then demanded the role, basically.
Ooh.
Glad to see Hollywood's come so far.
Mm-hmm.
It has. Well, here's another I guess it's kind of sad knowing that Kim Walker passed away. But Kim Walker, who played the leader of the Heathers, Heather Chandler, was dating Christian Slater while they were filming Heathers. According to Christian Slater, he dumped Walker so that he could date Winona Ryder, but Ryder doesn't remember actually dating him.
Ouch.
She thought he was as forgettable as the rest of us.
Wow, Zack, I swear.
I didn't mean that one, Christian. I'm sorry.
Trust me, he left a long time ago. Winona's laughing if she's still here, though. All right. Australian electro rock pop punk band, the Veronicas, took their name from Veronica Sawyer, specifically from when Jason Dean asked her, "Are you a Heather?" To which she replied, "No, I'm a Veronica." It's a fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
The name Heather said 90 times throughout the film. That doesn't surprise me. Here's one I thought was kind of cool. JD tricks Veronica into killing the jocks by claiming to use Ichluge bullets, which he claims only pierce the skin. And what that means in German is, I lie or I'm lying.
Oh.
Crafty
little JD over there.
He is pretty crafty. Now, I want to know if you guys caught this. Winona Ryder claims that this is her favorite movie, and then she has many favorite moments from this film. The one that usually comes to her mind when she is walking up the hill after seeing JD in the cow tipping scene. You guys know that? Remember that scene?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In the background, just barely visible, apparently Heather McNamara is being date raped by one of the jocks. Winona Ryder said the scene is so subversive and dark that once you notice it, you can't stop thinking about it. Did either one of you catch that?
I caught it as an adult, but I don't obviously recall getting that when I was younger. I was actually talking to Steve about that, my husband, when I was bringing up this movie and bringing up all these memories of it. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm like, this girl's getting date raped. And she just walks away like, that's no big deal. So
yeah, it's hard not to notice some casual sexual assault happening.
I didn't notice it. I've seen it probably 10 times. I didn't catch it until I read that and I looked for it. So apparently I am oblivious to the world.
Typical man.
Yeah, I figured that was coming. All right, so here's my big question, okay? Before we get into the actual movie, I got a question in regards to the thematic material. The whole movie is basically about teenagers who are sick of their classmates and cliques and decide to kill them, or at least one of them decides to kill them, while the other one is not technically complicit, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I think according to the law, she's pretty complicit, but whatever. But they kill them and frame it as a suicide. Now, that was 1988. now we're in 2017 where everything is super sensitive. What do you think this material in its current form, the way it is in this original movie, how do you think it would be taken today? Either one of you. Just like as a topic of discussion.
I think people would go crazy. I mean, you look at 13 Reasons Why, which handled the topic I feel like in a really more serious, straightforward manner. And even that upset people, that was just masses and masses of people who were, how can you show suicide? And they glorified it and they made it a good thing, even though I don't think they did. So I just don't think that Heathers 1988 Heathers would be accepted in 2017.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely accurate. I think people would be very angry, and I say screw them.
Do it anyway, right?
Yeah, of course. 80% of people that see the movie are gonna think it's funny, and then 20% of people are gonna think it's offensive and go online and yell about it. Make the movie.
Okay. Well, let's get back to I was just kind of curious because you're talking about a topic that's very sensitive. Now, we're going to do it because that's what the show is. It's just a very interesting concept in this day and age because everything is so sensitive. Like, because this kind of makes fun of both, like high school murder, kind of mocks suicide. I mean, it also is trying to bring attention to it, so it's doing it in a very smart way. But there is some mockery going on too, and I don't know how that would get away. How that would be played.
How do you think the gay jokes would fly?
Oh, not at all. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was watching it.
Mm-hmm. And like they make fun of bulimia.
Mm-hmm.
And
come on.
Well, the funny thing is that is how kids talk to each other. I mean, yeah, insults and belittling and degrading, and I mean that is part of. You can sugarcoat it all you want; it still happens. And I think they were trying to be as brutally honest while still being joking about it as they could, right? I mean, that's it's a satire.
Hey, that mineral water joke is incredible.
Jeez. All right, so the original. Let's get back to the original. What makes this movie so notable for you? Like, what stands out for you the most, Angela?
Definitely the subject matter. Looking back again as a kid watching this, I don't think I really picked up on all of the serious topics this movie really addressed. As an adult, I mean, we're talking there's date rape, there's bullying, there's suicide, there's homophobia, they're making fun of eating disorders. It's it's really dark. So that's definitely stood out to me a lot more than it did back then. Also, the lines, it is really witty. I mean, it's the lines. One of my favorite ones you mentioned was, "Did you have a brain tumor for breakfast?" I'm like, who says that? That's totally, it's terrible, and I shouldn't be laughing at it, but it's still funny for some sick reason. So definitely like the dialogue. And the other things that are really memorable for me are obviously going to be Winona Ryder and Christian Slater. I thought those two were just absolutely perfect for this movie. So
absolutely, they were.
Yeah.
What about you, Zach? What stands out for you? What's so notable?
Yeah, I would mostly agree with Angela again. It's the tone really sticks with you. Yeah, handling some pretty dark things and kind of not caring that they're happening. Like, like bulimia is just like, hey, come over here and help me. Yeah, date rape just happens in the background. Suicides are just how inventively can we stage these murders as suicides? So it's just the tone that really sticks with you, I think. And it's a funny tone too. And how casually the adults accept it. Mm-hmm. I mean, they just accept it. It's just everything's just a little off kilter, and it makes for a memorable movie. It's like just shy of a David Lynch kind of thing, but still interesting. Yeah, I said right. Shots fired. The other thing that I thought was really, some like you mentioned the dialogue. There's a line that Veronica's mom says that when teenagers complain that they want to be treated like human beings, it's usually because they are being treated like human beings. I love that because I feel that's accurate, and it's a very pointed statement. And there's a lot of honesty in the movie, even though it's being absurd. And I respect that because it's hard to do and harder to do well. And I think they do it very well in this movie. So obviously the plot, like you guys already talked about it, so I don't want to go too much more into that. The 80s hair is fantastic. I love it.
I love it. All the perms.
Those broad shoulders, the outfits.
Yeah.
Hard not to notice.
Angela, did women wear like football pads or what in the 80s? What was that about?
I have no idea, but that totally reminds me. My favorite part about this whole thing was the scrunchies. Oh my God, I want scrunchies to come back so bad. I loved scrunchies.
I loved how a scrunchie is apparently the sign of you being in charge at some point. When
the red scrunchie.
When Winona just takes it at the end. She's like, you took my torch. You're in charge now. What? How does that work?
New sheriff in town.
Couldn't she just go to the store and buy a new one?
Scrunchies. Hot commodity. Seriously. Like everything fashion-wise has come back. Why is the scrunchie not come back? I'm just going to put that out there.
Why is a red scrunchie so rare in 1988 that just having one keeps you in charge of the entire school? That's the important question I need an answer to. It's sad how Angela's not arguing this point. Like she remembers it being that way when she went to school. Yeah, red scrunchie owned it. That's just how it went.
What color was dominant in your school, Angela?
I don't know if like a scrunchie. For me in my school, the girl that was like probably like the head cool girl was the girl that had the biggest hair. So like the girl that fluffed her bangs the highest definitely like kind of ruled the school.
I wonder which mobile she works at now. That wasn't nice.
Zing.
That's funny.
All right.
Funny stuff.
The other thing, Winona Ryder. I thought she was great as Veronica. The one thing that's really interesting because you're looking back to 1988. I will say, up until a certain year, there wasn't a ton of strong, tough female characters in film. It just wasn't. And strong, tough female teenage characters were even rarer. And Winona was a perfect representation of that. She was tough. She was smart. She was witty. I mean, yeah, she was cute, but she was more the other things. And that's what made her so interesting. And in this movie, she really takes center stage and takes her life back in her own hands. And I always loved that character, and I love how she handled everything at the end. That's one. And then, of course, Christian Slater. I already said that. But
very good.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Subversive performance, really.
Okay. That's mockery. I can feel it. It feels like mocking.
I don't think that's true. He knew it was going to be a quirky movie.
He did know it was going to be quirky. I also thought Christian Slater literally looks like a baby in this one. Like he looks like he's like 14 or 12. I thought I looked up in IMDb because I thought he was younger than Winona in this, and he's actually a couple of years older than her. He just must not have gone through puberty yet or something because he's like a baby faced.
With awesome hair.
Yeah,
yes, he has really great hair.
Yeah, awesome hair. I couldn't stop
that
looking
hair
at
should make a comeback.
It should. On my head. That would be fantastic. I would love to have that hair.
You got any hair left?
Oh, wow. Talk about shots fired. Burn. Look at this. I think your connection is getting wobbly. All right. All right. So what doesn't work anymore? And feel free to have as much fun with it as you want. What doesn't work in this movie, Zach?
Well, the broad shoulders. I had fun from minute 1 to minute end. I don't think you can say the F word quite as much. But otherwise.
Yeah, the F me with a chainsaw. Or F me gently with a chainsaw.
No, the other one, the gay one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeesh, yeah, you can't these days. Even
I know you have to bleep me out. I just said it.
No, you didn't. That wasn't Zach. That was just someone else that jumped in.
Interference.
Yeah. What about you, Angela?
I mean, it's definitely dated. It's, which is, it was fine for, the time. But if you're going to remake it, I don't think you can really necessarily set it in the 80s today. I don't think it'd necessarily go over as well. The other thing I've noticed, and, I do like the character Veronica, but at the same time, like there's a problem with her. It's watching it now more with a critical eye. Like she's supposed to be a really, like you said, a really bright girl. She's supposed to have a really high IQ. Why does she fall for JD's crap then? The whole like bullet, it's just going to pierce the skin, but it's really not going to kill them. What the hell? Come on. That's kind of dumb. I just think that part's kind of silly. So I don't think that really works. Especially if you're trying to make her like a really smart girl. And then at the same time, my only other thing I said that it does and it doesn't work is Christian Slater doing the Jack Nicholson impression the whole time. It's like I do like it, but then there was a couple of times I didn't like it. So it's like hit or miss with me on that one.
Yeah. I mean, there is a limit, I think, to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was really considering trying to do it for the whole episode and just coming out here and being like, all right, so hello, my fellow cinematic architects. And, well, I was going to just keep going until someone just begged me to stop. 2 hours or an hour and 43 minutes, that's quite a long time to be doing that. But he does it. He commits. Good for him.
He does.
Yeah, that's an
method actor.
That's what he is. The one thing that really bugged me as you're watching it, and Angela, to your point, I will say at one point, Christian Slater, JD does say to Veronica that you knew what we were doing. You were in on it. You just, so I mean, to me, there is she kind of was complicit, but not, it's like they didn't want to do it all the way because of the audience. They didn't want her to lose the audience is what it felt like to me. Like they were just, they were a little bit daring, but they didn't want to go too far. And that's also the thing that really bugged me, is that she's never 100% complicit in any murder. And I want that. I really thought that was
Well, she straight up shoots that dude, and she knows that he killed the guy, the other football player. I mean, she's there while he's chasing the other dude around. Clearly, she's got to know that dude is dead, not just knocked out. So, like, looking back, I feel like she straight up murdered the second football player guy.
Zach, do you want me to tiebreaker here? Which side do you land on?
Well, I think she shot him to cover their tracks, because I think she already investigated the body of the first guy and saw that he was out. Or did JD lie to her and say that they were going to be out for a while? Can't remember now, but sorry.
I feel like she, like, at that point, I mean, she did it kind of because JD, like, yelled at her to do it or whatever. But I mean, she pulled the trigger, like, and I feel pretty confident that knowing that she knew that the other dude was dead at this point.
All right. Well, maybe it doesn't feel like to me that the movie committed to her being complicit. I don't know. Maybe that's what I'm trying to.
I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She keeps being with JD. Now, granted, I get girls like bad boys. It happens, man. It happens. I don't know what to tell you. That's science. You can't argue with science. It happens. But after he kills like one or two people, that's when you start re-examining the quality of your relationship. And I would think if murder's a thing you kind of have a problem with, wouldn't be too easy to walk away. So I don't know where I am in that respect, but it also plays a part in the movie, so you kind of have to hang with it. But I would have liked her to be more 100% complicit, like she took glee at least from Heather's murder or something. She took joy from it. That would have made me feel a little better about it, I guess, in some respects. The only other thing that really bothered me is the kids get away with murder super easy. Like, did they not have a CSI team back then at all? I mean, I get it's not.
No,
fancy.
the cops were smoking weed.
Apparently. And apparently, if there's a murder or like a suicide real close, you run to a car and you see some kids making out. Well, they're obviously not suspects. We won't even question them. Get out of here. You're good. Some of that was stupid.
They'll just be disappointed that she still has her shirt on.
Well, who wouldn't?
Well, I mean, it's so obviously a gay lover murder suicide pact when they got to the scene. Like, why would you investigate further? There is mineral water. Case closed.
That's how they do it on Sherlock. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on from there. Should this movie even be remade, or should it be placed in don't touch status? Angela?
I think it can be remade. I mean, the basic idea of it and what it was trying to convey, I think, still speaks. It's like a universal truth about, like just high school and the suckiness of it sometimes. And, the bullying and the mean girls or the mean guys. I'm like, all that kind of still speaks true. It's always going to be that way. So I think that it's still a timely topic. I just think it needs to be refreshed. So yes, remake it.
All right.
I'm in the remake camp as well. Because I didn't know about this movie, I wish I had learned about it earlier, and I would have learned about it if they remade it probably terribly, and then I could have watched the original. See, it doesn't seem so untouchable. You could remake this with a good enough director and tell a similar story and have it speak to the current generation in the same way it did to the kids of ’88. I'm in camp remake.
All right. Well, I'm going to be, you can remake it. Come on. I mean, it's more of a touchy idea to remake than it is a movie that's infallible. The movie, I think, can 100% be updated. I mean, maybe you can have an actor that's channeling Tom Cruise now or something. I don't know.
Well, you have the next actor do a Christian Slater impression.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Might be harder to recognize.
Yeah, fair enough.
Unless you're only going to the Mr. Robot audience. I'm just kidding. I would get it, Christian. I would. All right. Well, let's get to our remake, but first, here's another clip from the original Heathers.
Morning, Heather. Veronica. And Jesse James. Quelle surprise. Hear about Veronica's affection for regurgitation?
Heather, I think last night we both said a lot of stuff we didn't mean.
Did we? How the hell did you get in here?
Veronica knew you'd have a hangover, so, I whipped this up for you. It's a family recipe.
What'd you do, put a phlegm globber in it or something? I'm not gonna drink that piss.
I knew this stuff would be too intense for her.
Intense. Grow up. You think I'll drink it just because you call me chicken? Just give me the cup, jerk.
Okay, so here's what we know about the intended remake currently in the works. Heathers will now be a TV show on TV Land, and this is per L.com, and I'm referencing where I'm reading it from, just because when I use a couple words, I don't want anybody to write me a letter. This is per L.com. The new Heathers themselves look nothing like the popular yet evil Mean Girls from the film. Heather McNamara, originally portrayed by Lizanne Falk, will be a black lesbian on the show, played by Jasmine Matthews. Heather Duke, originally portrayed by Shannon Doherty, will be played by Brendan Scannell. The new version of the character identifies as genderqueer. The ringleader of the Heathers, played by Field, is described by the network as the unconventional leader of the Heathers who rules Westerberg High through fear, intimidation, and amazing fashion sense. Selma Blair has been confirmed to the role of Heather Duke's mother, Jade, who is described as a stripper and menthol smoker who is biding her time until her 82-year-old husband kicks the bucket. Shannon Doherty has also been confirmed to join the project as a pivotal unnamed character in the pilot. This is all that part's according to Hollywood Reporter. Wow. Yeah. Does that even sound like the movie we watched?
It's an impossible to swallow premise.
Why is that?
Those kids are not the popular kids in high school.
Yeah, you saw
That's
the trailer.
what I'm saying.
Did you guys see the trailer?
Way.
I did.
Yes.
It looks pretty rough.
They didn't even use the chainsaw line well.
Mm-mm.
So, I watched the trailer, and as soon as I saw our main Heather, no way are people afraid of her because she's so popular. Not everybody wants her as a friend in LA, you know? It's not happening.
I pick up what you're laying down. I pick it
Yeah.
up. What's your damage indeed? All right. Well, since this movie is getting a remake and we as fans always think we know the best way to do so, how should Hollywood remake it? All selections are settled by a best of 3 vote. Remember, we're trying to make one cohesive movie with each host receiving 1 cut per episode to be used when they are extremely passionate about their idea. Who wants to go first and tell us their version of the new Heathers that isn't quite like the one I just read? Ooh.
I can't imagine how anybody even came up with the idea that TV Land did.
That's what cocaine and a lot of menthols do.
Or like a desperate need to pander.
Damn.
Yeah.
He just keeps out swinging. All right, who wants to go first? I guess I'm going. All right, so here's my pitch. I'm saying keep it in high school. Okay, you start off, you keep it in high school. But Veronica, I think, is much more under the influence of a lead Heather. So she runs the school in many ways. And her humiliating, dehumanizing ways work much in the way of any bully. They break down your esteem. They attack you that way. They keep you under their thumb in that way. And that's what that Heather is. Veronica is very much under that spell, so to speak. There's one in every school. I think many people are afraid of her, but they also despise her. So I want Veronica to meet JD and they hook up quick because I really like the honesty of that in the film. because a lot of teenagers do just hook up quick. I mean, I think it's sweet that people wait 16 dates to make out and have sex, but in the real world, it doesn't always work that way.
Barely wait 16 minutes.
Exactly. I mean, you already ate the popcorn. What's going to happen here? Let's get going. So I like that. I want it to be just like that. And what I want to happen, and I want this to not happen from the relationship, but through this break that she gets from Heather by being with JD, she begins to come out of her shell a little bit. So Veronica starts to find her own confidence, and she starts becoming increasingly defiant of Heather. And as JD sees her growing bolder, he tosses the idea of killing Heather around. This is my biggest change. Veronica is not only complicit, she actually plans it. So Veronica and JD go to kill Heather, and JD tries to back out. But Veronica tricks him into delivering poison he thinks will be just a prank. So it's kind of like a flip on the original script to a degree. So the flip here on my end is that Veronica was plotting this the whole time. It wasn't just in the original movie, you see JD and she picks the wrong cup up and he just lets her go with it, but he didn't intend that. Well, I wanted Veronica 100% plan this. She was plotting this entire concept all along. And as they leave and JD realizes what he's done or what they've done, he also realizes that only his fingerprints are on the cup that Heather used to die, to be murdered / kill herself, and however you want to look at it. So, but the cops think it's a suicide because they set it up that way. But all they need is a perhaps anonymous phone call from Veronica to tip the cops to check that mug, and they're only going to find JD's prints on it. She's effectively got him locked. So from there on out, Heather plans on getting revenge on many classmates that have taunted her for years, and JD is now her accomplice. She could turn on him at any moment, so he helps her. They kill 2 football players who were spreading lies about having sex with her in much the same way as the original, only this time it's entirely intentional. There's none of that tomfoolery or, oh no, it's just a cap gun. Oh, he went down. Look at that. It's weird. None of that. It's legitimate. She wants them dead. They also kill another member of the Heathers that gets a little too close to their secret. Maybe she recognizes Veronica's handwriting on the dead Heather's note, something like that. And then it all comes to a head when JD, he kind of snaps from all the pressure and decides to blow up the school. So everything from the original is here. It's just done a different way. And where he was once reluctant, he now sees how awful many of his classmates are by being under Veronica's spell. Like she was the one beacon of light he saw, and he realizes even she is awful in a way. Like inside, she still wants to be popular and she wants to control things. So Veronica doesn't want that, even as sadistic as she is. She comes to realize she doesn't want that. She just wanted the worst people out. You see a little bit of her light in that respect as you come to the end, and she does arrive to stop him. He stabs her, and she manages to kill him, and in the process, she does frame him for all the suicides / murders and walks away clean. Then, in an epilogue, we flash forward 1 year to Veronica starting college. She immediately meets a really crappy woman from a fraternity and treats Veronica like garbage, or sorority. I'm sorry, it would be a sorority. Treats Veronica like garbage. Veronica just takes it, smiles at the camera as the new Heather walks away, and you get what's going to happen next. That's my movie. That's what I would do. Wow.
Yeah, dang.
Whew.
That's very extensive.
Probably overthought it, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So who wants to go next?
Movie is very close to you.
I mean, I was Christian Slater, Zach. I've already explained that. So for me, I feel like I was in the movie.
Doing your best Nicholson.
Yeah, I lived it. Only I didn't kill anyone that you can prove. So, Angela, do you have anything that you want to throw out there in terms of a concept or add to that or change something?
Yeah, I can kind of piggyback on it a little because my thing, all I really thought of, when I was trying to, kind of reboot the idea was obviously to modernize it. I still wanted to take place in high school, but in today's time. So I think, the big thing, you'd have, social media play a big proponent and kind of the bullying and everything, with the Heathers, how they torment, the school and everything. So I kind of thought that the storyline, I wasn't thinking necessarily making her the super mastermind behind it all, but I definitely was thinking that if you go with the original, my feeling is, even though she had good intentions in regards to wanting to get rid of the jerks in the school, the date raping jocks and the bitchy, number one Heather Boley or whatever, she still commits murder. So I feel like in the end of the movie, my feeling is that she sort of should get like a comeuppance too. Like she just gets to like walk away in the original, and they kind of make her a hero. And I'm like, she kills an innocent person. So if you're going to go off of yours, where, I mean, it could work either way. Either we kind of keep it similar where she wasn't necessarily the actual planner, but she still does actually commit one of the murders or whatever. My thinking is at the very end, the whole bomb thing goes on, whether it's her or JD who's going to set it, they get into a fight. My thinking originally was it's similar to the original movie where she's trying to stop JD, she shoots JD or whatever, stabs him, and then JD comes out with the bomb attached to him at the very end. But I'm thinking I want her to get caught at this point too. I want her to be in trouble too. So I was thinking that good old Martha, the girl that, gets bullied in the beginning and tried to kill herself in the movie but fails or whatever. I'm thinking Martha's not in that pep rally, because why would Martha be in that pep rally when, she's picked on by all the kids in the school? I'm thinking Martha's outside and sees the conversation and what's taking place between JD and Veronica, and she's got her phone out and she's recording it. And I was thinking that they actually have like a conversation, like a whole, he gave that weird speech, but I'm thinking they give a speech where Veronica is now complicit into what she's done. And so at the very end, JD does die, blows himself up, Veronica, whatever, but then it ends with Martha blasting that video on social media, meaning Veronica's now going to get arrested and in trouble, punished for kind of being a murderous girl that she is also.
For kind of being one?
I mean, she commits murder. I'm like,
just a little bit.
I kind of feel like she should get punished too, but
just a tinge of murder. It happens every now and then.
When it comes to the jocks, it's more like manslaughter, who really cares?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm going to jump in now,
Mm-hmm.
right? Mm-hmm. I also would want Veronica to be complicit in the murder, so I think it's interesting that all three of us all thought that way.
Mm-hmm.
But with the premise of this movie, it's hard you want it to be in high school, you want it to still be her killing people and framing them as suicide, so it's pretty easy remake in that sense, except I would have her and JD be in on it together. On all the murders for you kill Heather, you kill the frat guys, you kill everyone almost the same way. You lose the gay angle on the jock deaths. And when eventually JD wants to take it to the next step, blow up the whole school, including innocent people and all. And that's where Veronica she tries to intervene during the pep rally. Martha's not there because she's a loser and doesn't.
Wow.
It doesn't want to hang in there. So she actually hangs out in the boiler room and just reads at the end of during these pep rallies and stuff to get away from everyone. So I would want JD and Veronica, they're fighting over the bomb in the school. They gravely injure each other somehow in the final fight. And then Martha actually presses a button to stop the bomb and she becomes like a school hero. And then Veronica and JD go down for all the crime. Well, they don't. No, they still get away with it because they're all framed as suicides. But
so we've got very similar in many respects that they're both complete. We all agree. Well, I agree. I wanted a little where JD was kind of framed and stuck there, but you guys want both of them complicit, and it's 2 against 1. So I lose on that one. So the ending seems to be where the big debate comes in, right?
Yes, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I think it speaks to the movie's strength that in remaking it, not a lot of it changes.
Let me ask you, why do you want to get rid of the gay angle specifically?
Well, it just doesn't. That seems like a product of the time, which I know is counter to the pandering of TV land, but it just doesn't feel like a necessary punchline to me.
It's a good answer. Just legitimate question. Because I do think that is the one thing when you rewatch it, wow, we were really like that in the 80s too. That's the sad part. I mean, it was obviously heightened and exaggerated, but I knew guys like that.
When they're forcing the nerd kid to say sucks dick or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we've mostly gotten to a point where it's no longer taboo to it just means you like it. So
you should run for office, sir. I like that. Put that on a t-shirt. It'll be all bleeped out mostly, but hey, put it on a t-shirt. It'll just say bleep, 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 bleep. Zack. All right, so we've got the same concept. We just need to go with the ending. We each have 3 different endings. My ending is that she gets away with it, JD dies, and basically, goes down with the ship, and then she moves on to college. Angela's, your ending is exactly that. She actually gets caught talking to JD about it before JD dies, because JD still dies in your version, right? And Martha catches it on film. And then Zack, your version is that they both get away with it.
Right, they both die in the boiler room.
Oh, so they both do die. They both do die.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So nobody gets away.
But the bomb is stopped by Martha because she's down in the boiler room avoiding the pep rally.
These are actually, I think, all 3 really good ideas. So who's willing to move first? I'm going to lean toward, I think Zack's is a little darker, and I like darker. I don't like happy.
Well, I also like that Martha gets, like in his version, Martha gets to be a hero, because that's kind of what I wanted in mine. Like, I wanted her to play a role. So I like that you went with Martha also as being kind of like a savior. And I think it speaks volumes that Martha would save all of these asshole people, that were terrible to her, and she still saves them. So
right. Angela and I care about the little people.
We do.
Can I keep where Veronica starts? Like, she doesn't, it's not the JD that brings her out. Like, she finds it on her own by just getting away from Heather. That's really important to me. I almost want to yell cut, but it's more of an idea than it is really anything. So
she's one of the popular girls, and then,
but she's under Heather's thumb so much because she's been, and she's almost bullied, and she doesn't want to lose that shot. And just getting away from them makes her realize that she needs to do something. Something like she's okay with taking care of them because it's the right thing to do because they suck. They're awful people.
Yeah, I mean, I think she can be the one who kind of brings JD over to the dark side. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think JD necessarily has to be the rebellion. Speaking of JD, did you guys realize like his name is Jason Dean, which I'm assuming is like a play on like James Dean?
Yeah. Yeah, I got that.
I didn't get it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
What? They might as well just said Jack. Just called him Jack. I mean, you might as well at this point. At one point, I was like, when is he going to scream, "You can't handle the truth"? I mean, I know it's a little earlier before that movie was made, but for some reason, I feel like it should be there.
Here's Jimmy.
That would have been great. I'm not going to lie. All right, so we've got a movie. So who should direct their movie? Who's the right guy to make this movie in this day and age? Angela?
I decided, because I mean, obviously this is a dark movie, and we want it to stay dark. I'm not going to try to lighten up the tone of it at all. So my thinking is, as dark as it is, I still like the quirky factor, and there's nobody better at doing dark and quirky than Tim Burton. So I would pick Tim Burton.
That's interesting. There's a Winona connection, and it also means, what does that mean? Jack Skellington will show up at some point, right? Is that his name?
Yes.
Yes, that is his name.
All right, Zack, what did you have?
I had, and I know his name's been run through the gutter in the past couple of years. I was leaning towards Adam Wingard, my boy, because I like his work, and after The Guest and You're Next, he needs another shot, and I think there were aspects of Death Note that I thought its quirk spoke to something.
Huh. Well, here's a funny thing. True story. I had Adam Wingard on my list, and then I heard
Tim. Then you saw Death Note?
And then I saw Death Note. Yep. That's absolutely correct. So I'm going to Tim Burton. I'm jumping on Angela's bandwagon. Yeah. Woo! Because, hey, he needs to do something small. He's good with small and dark and quirky. Mm-hmm. So,
hey, you know what? Tim Burton also hasn't made a good movie in a long time, so maybe he needs a shot too.
It's true. With Winona.
Oh, yeah.
Let's bring Winona back somehow.
She could play Veronica's mom.
Yeah, I was going to say. She could ask about the pate or whatever. How's your pate?
She could drop that line that I like so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So based on our remake, we can cast the two leads, JD and Veronica, obviously. Who are the perfect people? I've got no one else came to mind for JD than the guy that I have.
Ooh, I'm interested now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to throw, you guys, I've been giving you guys first shots. I'm taking the first one here. Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cole Sprouse.
I picked Cole Sprouse.
Wow.
Bam.
I guess it's Cole Sprouse.
And half the audience is like, who's Cole Sprouse? Well,
Yeah.
you should be watching Riverdale. Yeah, son. Zach,
Wow.
do you have somebody?
Yeah, I was going to say Dylan O'Brien from the Teen Wolf and the Maze Runner. But it sounds like he was immediately outvoted.
Yeah, he was super outvoted.
I think even inside.
I was thinking of mine was between Cole Sprouse and that Dylan Minnette, who's the kid from 13 Reasons Why, and he played Jack's son on Lost. I thought he could work, but then I thought of Cole Sprouse, and it was like, nope, nobody does weirdo, emo,
edgy,
dark cuteness better than that kid.
And funny, too.
And he is funny.
Jughead.
He is really funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for those, most of you that are like, who's Cole Sprouse? He is Jughead on Riverdale, which it's just now getting footing, I think. And he's also, if you really got to go back in time, wasn't he the kid in Big Daddy at one point?
Yes,
like the
he
little
was.
Kid?
I think he was also on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yes, he was.
But he's really good on Riverdale. Like, he is the coolest character on Riverdale. So trust in us.
It's really funny that you went to Riverdale, because for Veronica, I was going to put forward Camila Mendez, who plays Veronica on that show.
Because she knows the name so well?
No, I think she's a young up and comer, and I think she could do the part.
All right. Actually, I did think of her too. If it wasn't for, I was like, well, I don't want to make a Riverdale Heathers version. Riverdale. Heathers Riverdale.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every time I do the show, I pull somewhere from the CW pool. So
somebody watches too much CW. That's what I'm thinking.
Watch like 7 of their shows or something.
Yeah,
it's a good network.
Sure. All right, Angela, who was your pick for Veronica? She's a good pick though. Veronica, or what's your pick?
She is a really good pick. I was torn between two, so I'm gonna go with my initial pick, which was Chloe Moretz. I think.
Hit girl.
I like Chloe. I think she can play like weird, pretty, and like smart, and I could also see her being a killer since she's been a killer before. So I thought she might be a good run.
I like this.
Maybe she could be a good Heather.
Oh, I picked Heathers too.
Oh, look at
I went
this.
all out.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad you did, because I thought we were gonna have to pick a Heather, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out a good one.
Well, hang on. I've got my pick for we got 3 different ones, so I got a feeling somebody's going to have to toss out a cut here. But my pick was Catherine Langford from 13 Reasons Why.
She was my second pick.
So much personality, very edgy in her performance. She's a natural fit for Veronica, and I'm going to use it. Cut, because I'm not going to argue with anyone.
Can I cut your cut?
Nope, can't cut my cut. Sucker. That's why you get it. That's why I got it before you had a chance to get it. Bam!
Literally, she was my second choice, so I was going back and forth between her and Chloe. So,
I
feel like I'm win-win right now.
I've never seen a thing she's in.
She's really good in 13 Reasons Why, and that's the only thing I've really seen her in. But
have you not seen 13 Reasons Why?
No.
Okay, let me clarify this statement. You watched 7 shows on the CW.
I think realistically it's 6. Aaron.
Okay. 6 shows on the CW that are what, like 22-ish episodes a season, but you haven't watched 13 Reasons Why, one of the most acclaimed TV shows of the last 12 months.
Aaron, I'm going to, real talk, I live in Chicago. I'm surrounded by young 20-somethings, and when enough of them tell me it's important that I watch something, I usually don't. So I did not watch 13 Reasons Why, because its presence annoyed me at a certain point.
Changing my vote. I want JD to be played by Zack Parkerson. That's
everyone at work I've gotten to watch that show is like, hey, did you know you're in this show?
And you're like, no, that's why I'm working here.
Yeah, if I was in the show, man, I wouldn't be talking to you.
Yeah. That's why I'm working here and not watching 13 Reasons Why. I got to get back to my Legends of Tomorrow marathon.
That's a great show.
No, it's not. All right.
Second season is. You can't fight me on this.
So you guys said you both had some Heathers. I did not have any Heathers. So throw them out. Toss them out there. Whoever you want.
This is all Angela.
Oh, all right. Angela.
Oh, I'm the only one who picked Heathers?
Yeah, I didn't.
I was
pick
too
any
intimidated
Heathers.
to pick a Heather.
Okay. Well, so I was thinking for like some Heathers. I picked a couple. Like I thought Zendaya. I would like to see her.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, because she was really good in Spider-Man. I'd just like to see her kind of play like a bitchy girl. I kind of pictured her as I was kind of thinking of her as like the Shannon Doherty one of the group. That was what I was kind of thinking. Okay. And then the other one I was thinking, I thought might be an interesting to see her in this would be Sophie Turner. So, Sansa.
Ooh.
That'd be interesting.
Oh, do you mean Jean Grey?
Yeah. Hopefully better acting, though, than she did in the X-Men movies. And then the other girl that I thought, I just think she plays like pretty and bitchy, and I'm not sure if you guys watch Mad Men at all, but Kiernan Shipka, the one that plays their daughter, she just looks like a pretty snotty girl. No offense, Kiernan, if you're watching.
Or listening.
That's kind of what I was going.
It's a podcast. They don't watch it.
But I'm thinking we didn't use her as a Veronica, but I'm like the girl that plays Veronica from Riverdale. She'd be a good Heather, too.
Bam.
Yeah.
There you go. What's her name again?
Oh, Camila Mendes.
Camila Mendes. Bam. Put her in the movie. Yeah. There you go. You got like four of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's just put in the CW Network's lineup. Can Stephen Amell play a role here?
Sure, yes. He can play the dad. He can be married to Winona Ryder. He's a little bit younger, but I think they'd work as a couple. Yeah.
That totally reminds me. How did we not mention when we were talking about what we liked or disliked or whatever? How did we not mention that Ortho from Beetlejuice was the priest or the preacher in this?
Yeah, that was because it wasn't something I liked.
I love that guy.
Every time he did a funeral, that was probably the only part of the movie where I'm like, what? What the hell is going on?
Especially the weird dream funeral when they're all wearing 3D glasses.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
And I actually
got really obscure.
Thought it was real for a minute because I'm stupid. So
I thought it was real too.
Thank God.
Until it wasn't.
I was like, I don't remember this being real. I thought she lived till the end. I'm like, oh, I'm just dumb. Got it. All right. Well, any nostalgic moments? These can be either subtle or direct nods to the original that our remake needs. Anything from the original that needs to be there. I would say greetings and salutations is a big one because that's how he greets everyone.
Mm-hmm. That is a good one.
You obviously got to have the F me with the chainsaw. Mm-hmm. I think that line's got to be in there.
I want JD and his dad the role swap. I kind of like that. I thought that was a fun little weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome. Wow, I forgot about that. That was really cool. I really got a kick out of that.
That's cute. It was like they were really close. Like even in murder. I mean, they wanted to murder people the same. It all worked out.
I also really loved, it's so morbid, but it made me giggle it's probably one of the parts that made me giggle the most is at the funeral for the football jocks that they're in their coffins with their football helmets on. It's so wrong, but it just cracked me up.
That's great.
You can score a touchdown in heaven.
Yeah, it's very sweet. No, I mean, I really like Heather's line, like during their speech where she's saying, everyone here wants me as a friend or an F.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really like that line.
Done.
I really laughed at the Veronica helping one of the Heathers with her bulimia, but I don't know if that joke lands. But that really made me laugh.
Which one?
The one where Shannon Doherty needs Veronica to put her finger down her throat, that way she can throw up.
Leave it in there. Why not? It's our movie. We can do whatever we want. It's still better than whatever TV Land came up with. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. I'll put a trailer for that in the show post. So find that main post on the website, the remakeheathersright.com, and yeah, you can watch that trailer too.
Ooh, I had something. As a fun joke, can we just have the jocks constantly drinking mineral water?
That only fans of the original movie will even get?
It'll be a fun little nod to the fans.
Done.
There you go.
Done.
Putting that in there.
All right. Done. Now we got one more clip from the original Heathers.
Color me impressed. You really me up pretty bad, Veronica. You got power. Power I didn't think you had. slate is clean. Pretend I did blow up the school. All the schools. Now that you're dead, what are you going to do with your life?
Okay, now guys, this is where everything comes together. This is where Mr. Wayne Henderson, courtesy of MediaVoiceovers.com, is going to wow you with his take on our version, our collective version of Heathers. Take it away, Wayne.
Four teenagers run their local high school, reveling each day in the glory of humiliation. These ladies are known as Heathers. One of them is about to break free, and she wants revenge. Hooking up with a damaged guy with a warped sense of love, JD and Veronica embark on a vicious murder spree, taking down any that have wronged them in the process. The only person standing between them getting away with it all and certain death is the one lone sheep they never counted on, Martha. Coming soon, Tim Burton assembles a stellar cast as Cole Sprouse and Catherine Langford team up to change high school forever. Welcome back to Heathers.
Woo, Wayne.
Great job, Wayne.
You
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Okay.
As always, we sound great.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we work in Hollywood? You know what? We came up with a better idea in an hour. Less than an hour, really. Half an hour is how long we spent on the remake. Than TV Land managed to come up with in, at least 12 months,
And we didn't get paid for it. We're suckers.
Not a dime. Not a dime.
You know what? I don't want a check from TV Land anyway.
I'd take a check,
yeah,
TV Land.
You want my P.O. box?
If you're listening.
Please
I'd sell my soul.
Exactly. You can PayPal. We'll take PayPal. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2017. It's a new age. All right. Well, before we close the show out, we try to share some listener memories, and that's from Jeff Gentry. And he said, "I remember how wild and strange Heathers was. How different than anything I had ever seen. The cast was perfect, so a remake would be a challenge to anyone. Well, only to TV Land, Jeff."
Not to these professionals.
Exactly. Not to these cinematic architects. And we've got one more from Marilee Gonzalez. "Hi, Aaron and guests. So excited to see that Heathers will be coming up on the podcast. I have clear memories of Christian Slater's black trench coat. Me too. The colors of Heathers and Veronica wore, how greetings and salutations and what's your damage, Heather, became part of my lexicon. Winona's ridiculous monocle while writing in her diary, etc. I can't wait to hear your take on this remake. I hope we didn't butcher it too much for you." All right. Well, remember, you can find Wayne Henderson at MediaVoiceovers.com, or he has a couple other podcasts, so please check the show notes for the links to those. You can find myself here on Remake This Movie Right, as well as TheHollywoodOutsider.com. And anything you guys want to plug? Zach, Angela?
Sure.
Nope.
You can find my video game musings on WeLoveToGame.com. We have a Twitter at WeLoveToGame, or you can find me on Twitter at Zack Parkerson.
Is that one
So
word?
do that.
I'll plug Zack. Do what Zack just said.
Thank you, Angela.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Well played. Or go to the back catalog. Listen to these guys on previous remake episodes as well. Do that.
It's true.
Subscribe and review us via Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or whatever podcast app you use. I can't stress enough how important it is to the show to get reviews. It helps you get seen on those search engines, and Apple's new search function really limits how many get shown on a search. So every review helps. So if you haven't, please do that. It'll only take a minute. And email us at remakeThisMovieRight@gmail.com. It's remakeThisMovieRight@gmail.com if you have thoughts on the show or you have your own remake idea for Heathers. We're also on Twitter at Remake Right. You can find us at remakeThisMovieRight.com, and you can find a Facebook group on Facebook. And there you go. Share the show with your friends. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, Angela and
Thanks.
Zach.
Anytime.
Sweet. The credits have rolled on this remake, but be sure to come.
Hey.
What?
Where's the Nicholson voice?
Credits have rolled on this. Hang on. You got to warm up to that. You can't just jump into it.
I bet you Christian Slater could.
Yeah, Slater still could.
He's still wearing those pants, huh? Is that what you're saying? Just like a glove. Just fits. The credits have rolled on this remake, but be sure to come back for our next one. Remember that every film you love will get a reboot someday, and only you, can remake that movie right. I think it was more Clint Eastwood.
Done. It really sounds like it would hurt your throat to do for more than 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He commits. All right?
Yeah.
Christian Slater is a committer.
It's all about lozenges.
At some point, do you think you're just like, I'm going to need a minute. I'm really going to need a minute.
Hey, can't really do this one.